questions in Cambridge paper 4. So let's quickly take a look at some of the statistic questions that are in past papers. Now this question says that Indiana records the time taken for workers in our company to travel to work. Now the table below shows each part of the information that is given. Okay, the question is not so clear here, but it was a photo, okay, taken. So the point is that Indiana records the time taken for her workers in our company to travel to work, the time it took them to travel to work. So this first role is the time axis, the time role. So the first one here is T. T is less or equal to 10 and is greater than 0. T is lesser than or equal to 25, greater than 10. T is lesser than or equal to 40 and is greater than 25. T is lesser than or equal to 60, greater than 40. T is lesser than or equal to 80, greater than 60. Okay, now let's take our pen. Okay. Let's take our pen. Okay. Now here is T, the time axis. Here T is lesser than or equal to 10. Lesser than or equal to 10, but greater than 0 in the first one. Okay, greater than 0 in the first one. Greater than 0. The second one, T is lesser than or equal to 25 and greater than 10, and so on and so forth. Now this is the frequency axis. Now the question says we should probably, I think they want us to compute this one, to complete this. This is a frequency density. They've drawn the first one for us, the second one. So we're going to calculate frequency density, and we'll be able to complete this graph. They did only the first two, and then we're going to complete this one, okay? Now how do we calculate the column for frequency density? We can draw one column here, okay, to include the frequency density. You can draw one column here to include the frequency density, okay? So we break each one here. Let's calculate the frequency density. And you must know the formula for calculating frequency density. You know, you have to know the frequency density because for this histogram, the frequency density is plotted on the vertical axis, the time is plotted on the horizontal axis. So to calculate the frequency density is not far-fetched. Now frequency density, the formula, frequency density is equals to frequency over class width. Frequency density, the formula, is the frequency over class width. Frequency that is given to us, frequency over class width. Class width means the width of the class. Now, for example, this first one, the class width is 10 because it's from 1 to 10. T is lesser than or equal to 10, greater than 0. That means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So the class width here is 10, right? The class width is 10. So, however, for this question, they've given us what? The frequency density from the graph. Here, they want us to calculate. They didn't put any value here, okay? We wrote this value. So, they want us to calculate the frequency first. They want us to fill up this table. At least this question is about 3 or 4 marks, okay? To fill up the table first, you get like 3 marks. To fill up the table first, you get like 3 marks, okay? So, first, they want us to, the value here, and the value here, these two, we solve them. They gave us this one. They gave us these values. Okay? They want us to calculate these first two. Now, because they've given us the frequency density, you read the value. Look at this graph, is frequency density on the vertical axis. So what's the value of the frequency density here? If here is 3, this place is 3. This place will be 2.8, right? Here is 4, 3.5, here is 4. This top here is 4. This middle way here is 3.5, here is 3, this place is 3, but here is 2.8. So our frequency density is 2.8, so we can calculate the value of the frequency. They did give you the frequency, but you from the graph you read the frequency density. So you read the frequency density yourself. My board is lagging now, we just wait like less than a minute, 30 seconds.
The last thing. Yeah, the last one, right?
So here we go to calculate the frequency. How do you calculate the frequency? You make the frequency this change of subject or formula. Okay, the link is reconnected. That's why I'm kind of wasting. Okay, now we wait. Now we have here 2.8. The frequency density is 2.8. How do you know the frequency density is 2.8? We read that from the graph for the first class from 0 to 10. The class width of 0 to 10. We don't know the frequency, so we use the value of the frequency density from the graph because they plot a graph of frequency density. So frequency density is 2.8. 2.8 is equal to F over the class width. Class width is 10. The class width is 10. Why is the class width 10? Look at the group data. Look at it from 1 to 10. From 1 to 10. T is lesser than or equal to 10 and greater than 0. So starting from 1 to 10. So the class width is 10. So when you cross multiply, let me erase this mark, the one I put here previously. Now when we cross multiply, we have frequency F equal to frequency density times times multiplied by the class width. Frequency density multiplied by the class width. So the frequency density is 2.8. So you say for the first one, 2.8 times 10. 2.8 times 10 will give us 28. 2.8 times 10 will give us 28. So this value, for the first interval, the frequency will be 28. So we come here, we put 28 here. We put 28 in this place. We put 28 in this place because the frequency is 28. Remember, here is frequency. Remember, this column is frequency. This place is frequency. I know it's not clear, but at least you understand what we are doing. Okay, here is frequency, and then we calculate the frequency. Now here we don't know this value also, but the class width is from t is lesser than or equal to 25 and greater than 10. So from 11 to 20 is already 10, to 25 is 15. So the class width here is 15, and the frequency density is 3. Look at it. Frequency density, because this bar is taken to 3. The frequency density is 3. So for the second case, I will say 3 multiplied by my class width. What's the width of the bar? What's the width from 10 all the way to 25? That's 15. So I multiply by 15. 3 times 50, that will give me 45. So this frequency is 45. So this is the first thing they want us to calculate to complete the table. So here we put 45 here. Is that okay? They've already done this for us, 57, 38, and 12. So we are done completing this table. So after doing that, you know the frequency, right? These ones, the next question is for us to complete this graph. This histogram. Now, to complete this histogram, this one will give us around another 3 marks. Okay, if you complete this histogram. Now they want us to complete this histogram. How do we do that? You remember these ones, they didn't give us the value of the frequency density. So here I'm going to calculate the frequency density for this one. These 3, we're going to calculate the frequency density value. Okay, we're going to calculate the frequency density values. Remember, the frequency density for the first one is 2.8. The frequency density for the second one is 3. Oh, sorry. Yes, 2.8. 2.8 is here. 2.8 is here. The next one is 3. This place we write FD, frequency density. Okay, this new column we write frequency density. Now let's calculate the frequency density of the third one. This third one. First of all, what is the class width? What's the width of the class for the third one? What's the width of the class from 26 to 40? Okay, to 30 is 5 to 4. 50 also, right? This is for 15, the width of the class. Remember, frequency density is what? Frequency over the class width. So the frequency is 57. Look at the frequency. The frequency is what? 57. So we're going to say 57 divided by 15. 57 divided by 15. The class width is 15, right? So we're going to say 57 divided by 15. 57 divided by 15, what do we get? (57 divided by 50), what do we get? 3.8. So we get 3.8. So we're going to take this one. We're going to take this one to 3.8. To the frequency density value of 3.8. So this frequency density is 3.8. So I'm going to plot it on the graph. Okay, I'm going to raise this okay. What we're going to do is that we're going to raise this one from 25 to 40. We're going to raise it to a height of 3.8. Remember 3.8 is here. Remember 3.8 is there, somewhere here. 2 blocks to reach 4. Just 2 tiny blocks to reach 4. That will be at 3.8. Okay, so it's laggy, but I hope it can be restored very quickly. Okay, so we draw it here. See, 3.8 is up to this length. You bring it down. You bring it down like this. You bring it to join here. Okay, you can shade this one with pencil. You can select the shading concept. Okay, maybe with the one that look like pencil. Which one looks this one? Okay, we can shade everything here. Okay, you shade to show that this is the area that is covered for this frequency density. Okay, as much as you can, you shade this place to show this place. Okay, so that's that. Then for the next one, we're going to calculate the frequency density. First of all, to calculate the frequency density, this one we've just done is 3.8. Okay, let's write it. 3.8. That's the frequency density. Now let's calculate the next frequency density. Let's calculate the next frequency density. Now frequency density is always the frequency. What's the frequency for this one? 38. It's always the frequency. Look at the formula here. It's always frequency. Frequency density is frequency over class width. So what's the frequency? 38 for this one. So we're going to say 38 over, what's the class width? You read the class width from here to here. 40 to 60 is 20, right? The class width is 20. The class width is 20. So we say 38 divided by 20. Huh? 1.9. Okay, so here we have 1.9. The frequency density is 1.9. So what we're going to do, what that means, our frequency density is 1.9. And then we're going to raise this bar to 1.9. Remember, 1 is here. 2 is here. Here is 2. This place. Here is 1. So 1.9 is just one box to reach 2. So you draw it at this point. You draw it here. With pencil in the exam, okay? In the exam, you have to use pencil. Don't draw with pen. Draw with pen, you fail. And remember, the class width is from 40 to 60. Don't exceed this width of the bar. And then you shade. And then you shade with your pencil, okay? And then you shade. Then the last but not the least for this question, for this particular case, is also to find the frequency density of this one. The frequency density is the frequency, which is 12, divided by the class width, which is from 60 to 80 is 20. So we're going to say 12 divided by 20. It's going to be 0 point something. 12 divided by 20, we get 0.6, right? So here we're going to get 0.6. So we get 0.6 for this one. And then we come here. 0.6 is just above 0.5. You know 0.5 is here, this place. So 0.6 is one box above 0.5. So you draw it here with a pencil, and then you bring it down, and then you shade. And then you shade. So if you finish this, you get another 3 or 4 marks for being able to complete the table you get like 2-3 marks. For completing this one, you get another 3 marks. Is that okay? Now the first question says complete the table and the histogram. So you have to do the table and the histogram. We've done that. We completed the table and we completed the histogram, right? Altogether 5 marks. Meaning the table, since we only completed 2 places, only, for the table, we got 28 and 45. With this one, will give us 2 marks. The histogram, we completed 3. That will give us another 3 marks. This one will give us 3 marks. Both of them is 5 marks. Both of them is what? 5 marks. Both of them is 5 marks because that's what it says. A complete an estimate of the, okay, that's the second one. It says complete the table and the histogram. Now calculate an estimate of the mean time. Now they want us to calculate the mean. They want us to calculate the mean, an estimate of the mean. The mean, we have to make, okay, let's make our own, can we make our own table? This Yungu, we make a lot of rough place here already. You have the group data. You have the group data. And then you have the mid value. You have the frequency. Okay, you have the f of x. Okay, let's wait, it's laggy. We'll give it like a few seconds. But anyway, he said calculate an estimate of the mean time. Mean for group data, we have to find the mid value. It's group data, we have to find the middle value, the mid value. So once we get the mid value, we multiply the mid value with the frequency, we get the f of x. The mid value is called the value of x. The mid values are called the values of x. The frequency values are called the f value. So to find f of x, we multiply them, right? We multiply them. Now we're going to have the mid value. 0, the group value is t is less than 10 equal to and greater than 0. Okay, let's begin to have them here. Okay. Let's have our table. The table we drew is missing. Okay, let's have something here. Here is the, let me just say t, okay, missed time. So the first one, t is lesser than or equal to 10. T is lesser than or equal to 10. And is greater than 0. Is greater than 0. Okay, and the next one, t is lesser or equal to 25, right? Lesser or greater than 25. And then greater than 10. The next one, t is lesser or equal to 40. Lesser or equal to 40, but greater than 25. Greater than 25. The next one, t is lesser than or equal to 60. Lesser or equal to 60. These are the group values. Lesser than or equal to 60. We want to calculate mean. So to calculate mean, you must know this how to do this small table. Okay, and greater than 40. The last one, t is lesser than or equal to 80. Lesser than or equal to 80. Lesser than or equal to 80. 80. And is greater than 60, greater than 60. So since we have this, now the next is to find our mid value. How do you find mid value? The mid values are called the values of x, mid values, okay, of a group. You only find mid value if it's a group data. If it's not a group data, you don't need to find mid values, okay? In statistics, you just use the ordinary values. But if it's group like this, you find the mid value. To find mid value is this first one plus the second one divided by 2. So 0 plus 10 is 10. 10 divided by 2, we get 5. So the first mid value for this one, they are called the values of x. The mid values are called the values of x. The next value will be 10 plus 25. That will be 35. 35 divided by 2, you get 70.5. You get 70.5. If you divide 35 by 2. The next one is 25 plus 40, that's 65. 65 divided by 2, 32.5, right? That will give us 32.5. Okay, the next one is 40 plus this is 50, 100. 100 divided by 2, you get 50, right? The next one is 60 plus 8 is 140 divided by 2, you get 70, right? Okay, so these are called the mid values. Now you've obtained the mid values, which are called the values of S. You do this one quickly. This thing doesn't take, in the exam hall, it doesn't take any time, okay? The next thing, you write out your frequency. Each frequency, even the ones that were not given to us, now we have already obtained them. The first frequency is 28, 45, 57, 38, and 12. Now let's write all the frequency out. The first frequency is 28. The next frequency is 45. The next frequency is 57. Right? 57. The next frequency is 38. And then 12. Right? These are the frequencies that are given to us. Some we found by ourselves. The first two we found by ourselves. We completed. Then the next thing to do is to find what they call f of x. F of x. What do we call f of x? Meaning the frequency multiplied by the mid value. The frequency multiplied by the mid value. The frequency multiplied by the mid value in order to be getting our f of x. Now what's the total frequency? It means the total number of students, total number of people who were to work, right? We add 28 plus 45 plus 57 plus 38 plus 12. So we get 180, right? For the total frequency. Now let's calculate f of x now. To do f of x, we'll be saying 28 times 5. 28 times 5 is what? You multiply 28 times 5? 140. So you write 140 here, right? The next one is 70.5 times 45. 78. Okay, wait, my body is laggy. 78. 7.5. 787.5. Okay, for this one, 32.5 times 57, you get 1852.5. 1852.5. Then this one is 50 times 38. 900. 50 times 38.
1900.
Okay. Yeah, then the next one, 70 times 12, 8400, right? Because 7 times 12 is 84. Then you add 1 0. That's 840. The next thing to do is to find the sum, what we call sigma f of x. You know the meaning of sigma? Sigma means summation. Means add f of x together. Summation. Sigma notation means summation notation. This one is sigma f. Sigma f means sum all the frequency. We summed all the frequency, we got 180. Now sum the product of frequency and the mid value, sum all of them together, we get 5,520. 5,520. So we get, okay, you can double check, okay, to see whether that's the value. Add all of them together, you get 5,520. Now mean, remember they say we should calculate mean. Mean is simply equal to sigma f of x over sigma f. Sigma f of x over sigma f. Mean is simply equal to sigma f of x. So for the whole table, first we get the mid value. The frequency values, we already have them. We just write them. We multiply frequency and the mid value. We get f of x. We sum all the f of x. It becomes this our numerator, sum of the f of x. And then we sum all the frequency, becomes this our denominator. So mean is this sum of the f of x over sum of the frequency. So that gives us 5,520 divided by 180, right? Divided by 180. Okay, if we didn't make any mistake, then we'll be getting 36, right? Is that 36.7, right? We get 36.7. 30.666. Okay, we get 30. We got 30.666, which means 30.7 in one decimal place. Okay, so you get 4 marks if you're able to calculate this. Every exam you find a question on the mean. You find a question like this, similar frequency density, frequency, cumulative frequency, and all of these things. Or every exam you find a question in this manner, how to calculate mean from group data. Okay, now here we have, it says, the frequency table shows the time of each 42 athletes in a race. This is a different question. The time of each. So this one, they already give us the number of athletes. The number of athletes means the frequency. You know, right? Number of athletes simply represent the frequency. Why? This is for the group. This is the group. Okay, so here, depending on what we want, we can find the mid value. I can draw another column to include the mid value if need be, depending on what they want us to find. Calculate the estimate of the mean, yes. So we're going to calculate the mid value. Okay, we add the mid value column. We call it mid value. So allow me to call it MD. MV, mid value. Which is in bracket, we call it values of x. We call it values of x. We call it the values of x. I put x in bracket. And then after that, after you find the mid value, you're going to find f of x, right? We're going to find what we call the f of x. We're going to find the f of x. So we extend our table, meaning multiply the frequency by the mid values. We get our f of x, and then we are able to calculate the mean. Now, what's the mid value of this one? 216 plus 219 divided by 2. You add this plus this, you divide by 2. So we get 217.5, right? So we get 217.5. Is this one conspicuous enough? The one in pencil, can you see it? No need to write it. Okay. Then the next one is 219 plus 224. You add them together, you divide by 2. You get 221.5. Here you get 221.5. 221.5. Then the next one is 224 plus 234 divided by 2. 224 plus 234 divided by 2. You get 229, right? Okay. Can you see the 229? Yeah. Okay, so 229. Then the next one is 234 plus 244 divided by 2. We get 239, right? 239. That's what we get here. 239. The next one is 244 plus 264 divided by 2. We get 254, right? Okay, so these are called the mid values. Now we have to find f of x. Remember, this number of athletes is called the frequency. So here is called the frequency. Okay, here is called the frequency. So you multiply this times this. Now let's multiply. Can we double check? 9 times 217.5, we get 1,957, right? What do we get? 1,957, right, for the first one. Okay, then the next one is 40 times 221.5. This 40 multiplied by, is the frequency value, multiplied by the mid value, 221.5. We get 3,101. 3101. Then the next one, for this 40 also, multiply by 229. We get 3,206. 3,206. This 6 is not shown. 3,206. This 3,206. Then the next one is 2 times 239. 2 multiplied by 239. We get 478. So this number is 8. 478. We get 478. Okay, 478. Then the next one, the last one, 3 times 254. We get 762. 762. Then the next is to add all this sigma f of x. Add all these f of x numbers together. Let's add them, all of them together. What do we get? We add all these numbers together. F of x, sum of f of x. We add all of them together. We get 9,000. And our total frequency, I think they mentioned it, 42. The outlet is 42, so total frequency sigma f of x is equal to, sigma f is equal to 42. Okay, we get 9,000. Can you do it again? You sure? 1957 3101 plus 3206 plus 478 plus 762. Okay, let's see what we got. 9,504. 9,504. That's what we get. 9,504. This is 5. This number is 5. 9,504. So the mean, to calculate mean is sigma f of x over sigma f. Sigma f is 42. Remember that. F is 42. To find f, sigma f is to add all these numbers together. And to find f of x, to add all these numbers together. So you say mean is equal to 9504.5. Take 9504.5 divided by 42, we will get 226.3. 226.3. Okay? So that's our mean. 226.3 or 226. Yeah, 226.3. That's what we got for our mean. Is that okay? Now let's go to the next question. The next question says complete the histogram to show the information in the frequency table. Complete the histogram to show the information in the frequency table. Now let's see he said 2 of the blocks have been drawn for you. 2 of the blocks. Okay, they drew one here and they drew one here, somewhere here. They drew one here. Okay, let's see the ones they drew. I think the second group data from 219 to 224. 90 to 24, that's 5. From 290 is here. (219) to 24. Wait, which one is it? Okay, this is the frequency density. Okay, this one is frequency density value. Okay, and these are the group data. So we have to calculate the frequency density for each one, and then we will plot against our values. Okay, so if we come here. Okay, a minute. Okay, it's just laggy anyhow. Maybe because we are charging it and doing it at the same time. Okay, now let's say complete the frequency density. On this side we can calculate frequency density column here. We can just add it here. Okay, so we call here the frequency density FD. So for this first one, you know the formula for frequency density. Frequency density is frequency divided by class width. Frequency divided by the class width. Do not confuse the class width with the mid value. Mid value is to add and divide by 2. The class width is to find the difference between the two. Okay, now here, the class width for this one, T is lesser or equal to 90, greater than 60, meaning you not count 60, 70, 270, 280, 290 is only 3 numbers. It's only 3 numbers. So that's the class width. And what's the frequency? 9, right? So 9 divided by 3, the class width is 3. 9 divided by 3 is 3. So our frequency density for the first one is 3. Then the frequency density, what's the class width for this one? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's 5. This is 5. So the class width is 5. That's 224 minus 219. That's 5. You say frequency divided by this. 40 divided by 5, you get 2.8. 40 divided by 5, you get 2.8 for this one. Now for this one, 40 divided by, what's the class width? 10. The class width from 24 to 34 is 10. So 40 divided by 10 is 1.4. 40 divided by 10 is 1.4. That's the frequency density. Now this one is 2 divided by 10, because from 234 to 244 is 10. 2 divided by 10 is 0.2. So this one is going to be 0.2. The frequency density here will be 0.2. It's laggy, that's why I'm waiting for it to restore itself, to restore the connection. So here we're going to have 2 divided by 10. Here we're going to have 3 divided by 20. From 44 to 64 is 20. So this will be 3 divided by 20. Here will be 2 divided by 10. So 2 divided by 10, we go to get 0.2, right? Here is 0.2. Here is 0.2. Even this one we did is missing. This is 1.4. This is 1.4. This is 0.2. 3 divided by 20, what do you get? Is it 1.15? Yeah, 1.15. So we get 1.15 for this one, for the frequency density.
0.15.
Sorry, I said 1.15, 0.15 is what I want to say. So we get 0.15, right? Now let's go back to our histogram. To draw the histogram, these values will be on the vertical axis, while these values will be, either you use this value or you use the mid values to be on the horizontal axis. Now let's go to our graph. The first one is from 217, right? 217 will be, this is 216, 270 to 290. Okay, this one. They've drawn this one for us. They've drawn this one for us. And you can see the frequency density is 3, which we have calculated, right? They've drawn this first one for us. So we are not the one who drew this one, they drew this one for us. From 270 to 290, they've drawn that one for us. Now the second one, the frequency density ends at 2.8. Remember, we calculated 2.8. 2090 to 2024, the highest value is frequency density is 2.8. So you draw this one down. Okay, use ruler. Okay, don't let yours be like mine that is Yungul now. Okay. Wait, let me erase this one. This one is too bent. Okay, so this one we take it from here to 2024. You draw it down from here to 24. You like, you shade, you can shade. Okay, then the next one was the class width to 34, right? You count 30, 31, 32, 33, 34. Then you take it up. What's the frequency density? The frequency density is 1.4, right? You don't get to 1.5. You end it here because the frequency density is 1.4. The next one, the frequency density is what? They are all on the table. After 1.4 is 0.2 for this group data. 0.2. So we go here, we take it to a height of 0.2 only. One bar is 0.1, second bar is 0.2. So I take it to a height of 0.2 only. And from 34 to 44, 44 is here. This 240, 241, 42, 43, 44. So you take it up to this place. Okay, only. Then the last one, they've drawn this one for us. You know, they did two for us, this first one and this last one. So this one from 244 to 264 is 0.15. One box, the second box we have to be in the middle, 0.15. One box is 0.1, the second box will be 0.2. So inside the second box you pass the middle of it, and you this one. But this one they've drawn for you. So when you do this, you get 3 marks for drawing this histogram of frequency density against the time axis. You shade, okay? In the exam, you can shade to make it more conspicuous. Okay, that's that for how to do histogram and frequency density. The last but not the least is to learn how to calculate the cumulative frequency. How to calculate cumulative frequency in the exam is the next one for us to learn. How to calculate the cumulative frequency. Now, to quickly take a look at that, let's read the question. Okay. It says the time t minutes 80 students each spent completing their homework is recorded, and the cumulative frequency diagram shows the result. Okay, 80 students use this time to complete their homework, and their cumulative frequency is recorded for the time they use in completing their homework. Now here is the cumulative frequency. Okay, we might reduce the size so we can see the graph one time. Okay, so this is the graph. Now the first question says use the cumulative frequency diagram to find an estimate of the median. Use the cumulative frequency diagram to find the estimate of the median. Okay, the median is like the middle quartile. It's called 2/4 times the cumulative frequency. The cumulative frequency is the highest value on the graph. What the graph gets to? It gets to the top, which if you trace it here is 80. The cumulative frequency is 80, the top value, the topmost value, because the graph gets there, is 80. So you come here, for middle, if they ask you to calculate media is Q2, upper quartile is Q3, lower quartile is Q1. So if they ask you to calculate median is equals to 2/4 times the cumulative frequency, which means 2/4 times 80. 2/4 times 80, that gives us 40. Now this 40 is not our answer. What this one tells you, this 40, is that you should go to the graph on the vertical axis, on the cumulative axis, 40, trace it to the curve. Trace this 40 you just obtained from 2/4 times the median value, trace it to this place and trace it down. Okay, and trace it down. Trace it and trace it down. We can then get the time interval. It took the median time interval. You can get the median time interval. Okay, so this will give us a value like 26, if you are not mistaken. So this gives us a value like 26 for the median time interval. So we get 26 for the median time interval. Is that okay? Okay, so we get 1 mark for that. The next one is the interquartile range. We should calculate the interquartile range. Interquartile range is upper quartile minus lower quartile. If they say semi-interquartile, you say upper quartile minus lower quartile divide by 2. If they say semi, like semicircle, you divide by 2 if they say semi-interquartile range in the exam. Sometimes, some exam, they might say semi-interquartile range. Some exam, but most times they just say interquartile range. Interquartile range is Q3 minus Q1. Okay, now let's calculate Q3. How do you calculate Q3? So we say Q3 is 3/4 times cumulative frequency. Q3 is equal to 3/4 times the cumulative frequency value, which is 80. 3/4 times 80, that's how we can calculate our Q3 times 80. Because our cumulative frequency total is 80. So 4 goes here, 1, 4 goes into 80, we get 20. So 3 times 20, we get 60. So our Q3 is 60. The 60 is not the answer. It means you should come to the graph on the vertical side and trace 60 to the graph, to the curve. Trace 60 to the curve. Trace 60 to the curve. When you reach the curve, the cumulative frequency curve, then you trace the value down. When you reach there, when you meet the curve, you trace the value down to know the time interval. To know the time interval for the upper quarter. To know the time for the upper quarter. To know the time for the upper quarter. Okay, I think this time is around 28 or so. Okay, it's around 28. So that's what you have here, Q3. The time interval for Q3 is 28. So we write it here. Now we go and do for Q1. Because interquartile range is the time interval for Q3 minus time interval for Q1. So we do for Q1. Q1 is 1 all over 4. 1 all over 4 times 80. So 1 all over 4 times 80 is 20. 1 all over 4. 1 all over 4 times 80 is 20. Times 80 times 80 1 over 4 times 80 is 20. Okay, it's lagging a lot. 1 over 4 times 80 is 20. Okay, so this is equal to 20. So what it means is that we go to trace 20. 20 is not our answer. We go to trace 20 to the cumulative frequency. From the vertical axis, you trace your 20. From the vertical axis, it's laggy, cannot write, so that's why it's so slow. Okay, we already know that value is 20 for the Q1. Now you come to the graph, trace the 20 for Q1. This is Q1 value. Trace the Q1. This one is Q2, which is the median. Q2 is median. Q3 is the upper quartile. Okay, now let's first of all trace this one to the cumulative frequency curve. Trace this one to the cumulative frequency curve. Trace this one to the cumulative frequency curve. And then you trace it down. And then you trace it down. Okay, we lost, every time it lags like that, we lost substantial amount of our work. So you trace it down. Trace it down. This will give us around 17. So Q1 is 17. Q1 is 17. So 28 minus 17 we get 11. So that gives us 2 marks. That gives us 2 marks. Now we go to the next one, the last but not the least. The number of students who spend more than 40 minutes completing their homework. Now you go to minutes. Minutes axis is the horizontal axis. 40 minutes is this way. More than 40 is this way. More than 40 is from here to the end. So number of students who spend more than 40 minutes in completing their homework is this one. Number of students who spend more than 40 minutes in completing their homeworks are all the students beyond 40 minutes. All the students beyond 40 minutes. So you go to trace this one. You go to trace it to the cumulative frequency and then trace it this way. And then trace it this way. And then trace it this way. Okay, that will give you around 73. So now because they say more than 40 minutes, meaning this 80 minus 73. This 80 minus 73. Because if you shade here and you trace the shading to this side, it's all the space on top, above 73. So you say 80 minus 73, that will give you about 7 minutes. That will give us about 7 minutes. Okay? So with this, we've come to the end of the class. That will give us about 7 minutes. That will give us about 7 minutes, which means 80 minus 73, which gives us 7 minutes. And you get 2 marks if you're able to do this. So with this, we come to the end of today's class. Okay? Thank you for joining us.